This truck arrived at our workshop with a serious engine oil consumption problem. The driver noticed the engine was using far more oil than normal, a clear sign that something inside wasn't working as it should. So, to find the real cause, the only option was to begin a complete inspection of the engine. So the inspection began while the engine was still mounted on the truck. One component after another was carefully removed as the mechanics searched for the source of the problem. So we started with the turbo. At this stage, nothing had been confirmed yet, but the condition of the engine suggested that a major repair might be unavoidable. So, with the engine opened, the dismantling process continued until the internal components could be, examined closely. So, the bottom plate just dropped. Alright, so we're just trying to take off the pistons. As you can see, every step brought us closer to understanding why this truck had been consuming so much oil. Right, the answer was hidden deep inside the engine. It was a lot of process that was taken to take out the pistons, but definitely worth it. After removing the internal components, the real cause of the oil consumption finally became very clear. One of the pistons had failed and broken. As you can see, it's allowing the engine oil to pass where it shouldn't. So instead of sealing the combustion chamber properly, the damaged piston was the reason the engine had been losing so much oil throughout this operation. So just about when the repair seemed straightforward, another problem was discovered immediately. The crankshaft had also been damaged and could no longer be reused in its current condition. We had to bring the engine down for complete, transformation and rebuild. The damaged crankshaft was sent to a specialist for repair, while new engine components were ordered. Like many major repairs, rebuilding an engine also requires patience because every part must be ready before assembly can begin. So once every component was ready, the rebuilding process could now finally begin. The repaired crankshaft was installed first, followed by the bearings, the pistons, and the connecting rods. And the remaining of the engine components were also added. Every part was carefully assembled according to specification, gradually transforming a dismantled engine back into a complete power unit and ready to return to service. So, with the engine fully rebuilt, it was carefully mounted back into the truck. The remaining hoses, the fuel lines, the electrical connections, and the supporting components were reinstalled, bringing the truck one step closer to running again. After days of dismantling, inspecting, repairing, and rebuilding, the moment of truth had finally arrived. The engine was started for the very first time, and after all the hard work, it came back to life smoothly. This first successful startup confirmed that the rebuild had been completed successfully. So, before the truck could return to service, one final adjustment was necessary. Air trapped inside the fuel system was carefully bled through the injector lines, ensuring a steady fuel supply and a smooth engine operation. So, with the repair complete and the fuel system operating correctly, the truck was driven around the workshop for its final test. The engine now ran smoothly, confirming that the oil consumption problem has been successfully eliminated. What began as a truck consuming excessive engine oil ended with a fully rebuilt engine ready to return to service. Truck engineering explained.